Feed My Sheep, Neighborhood Solutions to Global Hunger. Every day, more than 50 million Americans don't know where or if they will get their next meal. Globally, 1 out of every 8 people is hungry right now. The ELCA World Hunger Initiative addresses the root causes of hunger and poverty. Through crisis feeding operations, the Good Gifts program, community gardens, and clean water projects, Lutherans everywhere obey Jesus' imperative to feed my sheep. In Nashville, one small ELCA congregation battles hunger with a neighborhood food bank and a breakfast program. St. Paul Lutheran Church, located in Metro Nashville's most impoverished zip code, feeds the hungry. Since the late 1980s, St. Paul and its ecumenical partners have provided a hot breakfast to homeless women and children each Sunday before worship. In 1997, the people of St. Paul opened a food bank to address North Nashville's escalating hunger crisis. Lovingly managed by Pastor John Swires and his wife Elaine, this Feeding America Second Harvest site distributes food boxes 4 days a week. In 2014, St. Paul distributed 8,802 boxes of food, nearly 25 per day, to rank as one of Nashville's most used food banks. St. Paul's programs feed thousands, but they also affect suburban lives as donors offer their time, talent, and resources. People who have never experienced hunger serve those who do, in solidarity and heightened awareness of how staggering poverty affects God's people. St. Paul's feeding ministries thrive at the hands of volunteers from ELCA congregations, the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod, Baptists, Methodists, and civic organizations. Together, they proclaim the gospel, 1 box of food and 1 hot meal at a time. These feeding ministries fill more than tummies. They also fill hearts with the hope of Christ. In a unique outreach, minimum direct supervision inmates from the Tennessee Department of Corrections unload food delivered to St. Paul from Second Harvest. The food bank staff depends on this assistance, and the inmates value their friends here, who assure them of God's grace. Tireless food bank volunteers stock shelves, pack food boxes, assist clients, take inventory, and clean refrigerators. Others collect day-old baked goods and perishables from grocery stores, delivering them to the food bank for distribution. Nothing is wasted. Excess items are donated to Nashville's Mission Network. Its long history of curbing human hunger makes St. Paul a beloved North Nashville success story in a neighborhood threatened by poverty and gentrification. Lutheran Services of Tennessee enhances that success through its Building Healthy Families program, conducted at St. Paul. Women gather here for education, a hot lunch, devotions, crafts, and to plant community gardens. These residents of Nashville's highest crime district encourage each other to strengthen their neighborhood. In 2014, an ELCA vicar linked St. Timothy Lutheran Church with St. Paul's Ministries to meet an urgent need for funding and materials. Led by Pastor Louis Gross, the suburban congregation donated cleaning supplies, breakfast non-perishables, and 200 Christmas hygiene kits. The church's winter coat drive and its Undy Sunday underwear and sock collection clothed over 300 people in St. Paul's neighborhood. The men's group provided money, tools, and labor for new basement lighting, a new microwave oven, freezer repair, and site improvements. St. Timothy Youth pitched in to break down boxes and served Sunday breakfast to the homeless before joining them to worship the living Christ. These young Lutherans learned what it means to be the living body of Christ through conversations around the St. Paul mural. Funded by the Cradle Board and painted by artist Karen Swires, this colorful mural depicts the faces and places that fight hunger in North Nashville. The mural took shape with assistance from Fisk University art students, St. Paul volunteers, and curious neighbors. The dedication celebration for this tribute to hunger ministry brought together the homeless, food bank staff and clients, volunteers, church members, and area residents. One small congregation's big response to Jesus' imperative, "Feed my sheep," has evolved into an essential neighborhood resource. The beauty of this response to extreme poverty is that it feeds people without bureaucracy and without burdening its volunteers. If this little church feeds thousands with a hunger ministry that began in a cramped basement with a few volunteers and some donated food, what could your congregation do? You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You simply need to feed the hungry. Take a look around your ELCA cluster and your community. Identify existing hunger resources and connect your congregation. People are hungry. Feed them. You can begin a neighborhood solution to global hunger, one meal at a time, in praise to the living God.
I'm John Swires. I'm pastor of St. Paul's Lutheran Church. And to see Karen come down here and kind of bring the whole thing together is really absolutely awesome. And it's kind of a God thing, you know.